That is Hollywood Studios to me. Is Tower
It's the
of Terror.
weenie.
It's the weenie.
A weenie. I guess Hollywood Studios has two.
Double weenie.
Maybe a third weenie? The Millennium Falcon?
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Triple mountain weenie. Wham, wham, wham.
Sup, Park Peeps? I'm Demi from Magical Hijinks.
And I'm entertainment journalist Joey Nolfi, strapping in for the Park Peeps Podcast, the ultimate theme park show where unhinged passion, travel expertise, and coaster nerd chaos collide. And this week we're talking with AllEars Fry Bucket about the best unbuilt Disney attractions.
So buckle up and pull up on that yellow strap as we dispatch for Season 2 of
the Park Peeps Podcast. Hello, travelers. I mean, Park Peeps listeners. I am Joey Nolfi, and my apologies on behalf of my co-host Demi and I today, as we are hoofing it, broadcasting live from a pair of potatoes we have stuck antennas into for better reception. Ooh, that's a little greasy. But as we do, in fact, sit here in the middle of a field in Haymarket, Virginia. Now, when I told her we were going somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Demi, she was a bit reluctant. So I have, in fact, actually kidnapped my co-host, and she is in the trunk of my car here in this Virginia wilderness. Demi, let me just get this tape off your mouth because I do have a question to ask.
Ow!
Now, Demi, do you remember why I told you this locale was necessary to leave normal life behind to record our episode all about the best unbuilt Disney parks attractions from?
I haven't had water in so long. No.
That's your
Why
response?
was this all necessary? Was this really necessary?
Demi, how dare you think about your own hydration at a time like this when Disney history is at stake? Okay, you know what? She's clearly unwell and incapable of doing this right now. We're going to give Demi a chance to...
I'm unwell?
Demi's unwell. And you know what, Demi? No, your answer was wrong. We are, in fact, broadcasting live in the field, literally, where Disney once planned to build a third North American theme park resort, Disney's America, though the residents and local politicians essentially revolted and let this American history-themed Disney park slip right through the cracks and fizzle out into history.
And we wanted to resurrect a bit of that history from this field today. I mean, one of us did. And we'll be bringing you a full episode from the wilderness via our technology-advanced antenna potatoes due to a general lack of electricity.
Before we get to our rollout with AllEars Fry Bucket, who will pull up in her camper van shortly to join us, I am told via potato, actually, please make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, give us the highest star rating, comment on this episode, and follow us on socials at Park Peeps Pod, at Magical Hijinks, you know that's HIJINX, and at Joey Nolfi, and you know that's NOLFI.
As in Nolfi, before Fry pulls up in her camper van, in lieu of a 2-minute tea time this week, Joey, we need to discuss some developments in the theme park and travel world this week.
Yes, we do. Demi, I'm going to give you the brief floor to give us your opinions on the thought. Spirit Airlines did announce that they were shuttering operations effective Saturday over the weekend. And yeah. I know that a lot of people were mocking it and sort of laughing online at this, but Demi, why don't you just very briefly give us a very good point that you made on social over the weekend about this?
Yeah, I mean, people will really always love to mess on Spirit Airlines. And let me tell you, as a frequent traveler, Spirit Airlines was phenomenal. I have tried every airline known to man, and I've tried the other budget airlines. I have never had a problem with Spirit. Spirit, you knew what you were getting. You were getting the prices. They had Wi-Fi to purchase if you wanted to have Wi-Fi. And in the 34 years of operations, they never had a fatality. And all I can say is now that they are gone, the airlines are going to start gouging us. And I'm very scared as someone, I'm a commuter to the parks.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, I flew on Spirit quite frequently too, especially down to Orlando. Pittsburgh to Orlando, you could find some, I'm talking $200 round trip for Pittsburgh to Orlando.
$200? I spent $30 on flights.
Yeah,
$30.
It's great. I think that essentially the important thing that you brought up is I think for our listeners, who many of whom do travel a lot, and I think that's going to impact them in the sense that, like you said, the gouging is going to go up because now Spirit is not there to check. I think the airlines who are now have no incentive essentially to lower their prices to compete with Spirit. So that's the important takeaway.
It made travel affordable for many people, and it's just going to hurt people.
Yeah. Well, from hurt to heart. Mine is warmed because we did also in another development this weekend got the reopening of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad that at Magic Kingdom, which reopened after a 16-month closure for refurbishment and full track replacement. The social media reviews and reactions were largely positive to this over the weekend. I think people are really enjoying it. The crowds for opening day on Sunday were really, really big. The line got very, very long, and there was a minor incident, but it was apparently handled very quickly, and it reopened later the same day. But it's interesting to see how they're incorporating already the Tom Sawyer Island legacy, and they're preserving it in some way, because as our dear friend Drew, who everybody Drew is going through something right now in his life, and he's posted all about it on his socials. Drew Smith, you should go and check out his socials, support him any way that you can. Yes, he's our dear friend, and we just please go support him in what he's going through right now. But he did point out that the blacksmith sign from Tom Sawyer Island, Disney has now incorporated it into the new Big Thunder Mountain design, and this new version of the attraction now expands on the lore of Big Thunder Mountain itself. There's new show scenes, particularly in the caverns in the beginning, and then the scene that used to have the dynamite in it is now a gold scene.
Yep.
So it looks really cool. It looks really refreshed. I'm very excited to go and try it out myself next month.
Me too. Next month, and if
this month,
next
month.
week.
Yeah, holy crap! Yeah, we've got like 3 weeks, and then we'll be there. But and this is an instance where I'll forgive people for using their cell phones for filming because it was necessary. So there are exceptions to every rule. So
really? Because I was thinking about you the entire time with everyone filming.
I had to just get over it. I was like, I just need to accept it, or else I'm going to go crazy. Yeah. But speaking of going crazy, the third thing we need to talk about here is Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin at Disneyland has apparently removed the self-spinning element and all mentions of the word spin except for the ride's title.
Right.
So essentially now, people have shared imagery from Disneyland. The instructions have been removed that instruct you on how to turn the ride, because essentially it was the Mad Tea Party ride system just on a track where you would grab a silver bar and turn it. That has now been removed. It's now controlled spinning. It still spins. You don't get to control it anymore. My quick thoughts on this are, I think that this is confirming what I unfortunately think we've long been overdue for, but I do think this signals the beginning of the end for this attraction, because I think I don't necessarily know that Roger Rabbit is an IP that can sustain much longer. I think that generations are aging out of it. It's absolutely nowhere near as prevalent as other IPs that are currently represented in the Disney parks right now. And I just think that
because it's because it's one movie versus like franchises that have been being put around the parks. And actually, I disagree with you. I actually think that them changing it is them trying to save the attraction, because at this point there's no reason to spend money to remove it. So I feel like it's just like it's keeping the longevity of it by updating it. I
don't know, because there was for so long. I mean, the green water effect was not working, and it doesn't seem. It seems like something that they're bare minimum maintaining, because that area of the park does only have one other ride. And this one does kind of offset sometimes on busier days. At that section of the park, there's 2 rides instead of just one. But I don't necessarily know that. I think what this communicates to me is especially the permanence of changing the language of the instructions. This says to me, this is a maintenance issue that was finally, we could not justify the cost to fix. So we are now phasing it out. And Disneyland has lots of other things on its plate right now. They've got Avengers Campus expanding. They've got the Disneyland Forward initiative. They've got Avatar. They've got Coco. So I also anticipate that come D23 later this year, I think that Disneyland will probably announce more things that are coming, and I think that this is the beginning of the signaling of this attraction might be on its way out. I would anticipate within the next 5 to 10 years we'll get an announcement that this attraction is closing.
But that's a big time jump.
I don't think it's imminent. I mean, I think that it's within. Maybe I'll rephrase that. I think we'll get an announcement within 5 years that this attraction is closing, and then within 10 years it will be closed. So I just think that there's more ways to, there's more to do with this. I just don't think that families and kids these days are really, they don't resonate with this IP.
Well, they should.
They should. I think they should too. But I just think it's not long for this world, unfortunately. But
well, I hope you're wrong.
I do too.
Yes. But Joey, it is time to slice these potatoes and fry up a fry as AllEars Fry Bucket joins us here in Haymarket to discuss the best unbuilt Disney attractions in history, coming right up. Joey, I think I see her pulling up. Fry has arrived in her camper.
She's here, Demi. We are saved. Demi, I have to say though, I wasn't being fully honest because we are actually absolutely lost in Haymarket, Virginia, but our guest is here to lead us out of this wilderness with her wit and wisdom. So let's welcome back another repeat guest, the fabulous AllEars Fry Bucket. Fry.
Welcome back, Fry.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. And we have to, first of all, what did you bring in your ration sack for us? What provisions do we have here in Haymarket, Virginia?
Well, if you know anything about AllEars, you are going to know the significance of these snack items. I'm not going to explain them.
Yes.
But I brought 2 things of grapes, chocolate milk, and a giant jar of cheese balls.
Demi, that'll last us about 46 seconds, I think. So, Fry, you might have to go out and do another return trip for us for more provisions because we have been really roughing it here in Haymarket, Virginia.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, well, thank you. We appreciate you as always, Fry. And I really, we are so happy to have you back. Our first episode that we did was so much fun. And it's funny that we are recording. Episode. I loved it so much, but it is funny that we are recording today because obviously we record before the episodes drop. So it is no surprise today we were recording on May 4th, which everybody, obviously, I don't do a Star War, but I know that it's May the 4th and May the 4th be with you and all of that.
With you, yes.
But our biggest takeaway, look at that. Why don't you tell everybody what you're holding up there, Fry?
This is a pin from Disney World. It's specifically Docking Bay 7. If you open it up, that is my restaurant that I worked at on my Disney College program.
Oh,
I am so from the planet Batuu, so I love May the 4th.
Such a recent college program.
Girl,
yes, I was going to say. It was a year after I did
2019.
Yeah, but like in the grand scheme, I know, but to me that's like 2 years ago. So
I know. But I think that it is significant because the last takeaway that we took away from our last episode was the Darth Vader on the rides commercial because we were investigating. Well,
you didn't know about that. We were like shocked that you had no idea about that.
Right. And Fry opened my eyes to this, and I just think it's, very fitting that we are recording this on May the 4th. So it keeps coming full circle here on Park Peeps. And I know that everybody at AllEars is doing a lot of really great stuff. What do you like? Is there anything that our listeners should be on the lookout for that y'all are doing? Are you excited about anything in particular? What's going on at AllEars right now?
Very exciting. I do think we're slowly kind of branching out a little bit. I will say that today, Emma and Quincy are getting back from a theme park in Tennessee, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh, I saw the stories over the weekend, and I saw that big pie.
I'm very excited to see those videos.
I am too. And you know what? I did get a text that was like, hey, new little guy alert. And Emma had very nicely sent me a photo of her with the cinnamon bun little stuffed animal guy. Cute. And I was like, Emma, if there is a woman who knows my heart, it is Emma. Because I've been obsessing over that little cinnamon guy forever. And it just, I'm excited to see the content that comes out of that, and all the content that you all do over there at AllEars. It's so great, and I know we've got some park days coming up with you, Fry. We won't say for what, but we do have some park days coming up with you. We'll be there at the same time, so can't wait to see you then. But what am I talking about? You're sitting right here with us in Haymarket, Virginia. I'm seeing you right now in the flesh. Yes. Now, Fry, you know the significance of Haymarket, Virginia, correct?
I am aware. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about Haymarket, Virginia?
Yes. So, for those of you that don't know, do I have any fans out there who perhaps love Liberty Square? Or maybe your favorite pavilion in Epcot is the America Pavilion? Because if so, you're going to be really disappointed. Because at one point in time, Disney almost opened an entire theme park that was like colonial times, rural Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
The 13 colonies, like a whole entire theme park, not just a land, a whole park. Yeah. And so we're going to have to talk about it today.
Muppets.
Yes. And listen, it's just always funny. It's just a litmus test for Disney fans because we did already explain to our viewers what this is. And I just love hearing everybody's take on it because everybody has such interesting takes on this specific piece of history. And I love where you took that at first. Yeah. So snaps to you, Fry. Snaps to you. But we are here to discuss other matters of Disney Parks history. And we're not just centering in on one park. We're going to have information here on this episode from a whole bunch of different parks because today we are breaking down the best, most exciting, our favorite unbuilt Disney Parks attractions. As always, what is Demi laughing at over there? Demi?
You know, it's funny how you were like, oh, and we're like all these different Disney parks. Just wait for mine.
Oh, just wait for mine too.
Hold on a second. Did Demi just spoil that Demi's are all from like Hollywood studios? Oh my god, I'm screaming. Wait, Demi.
I didn't. Let me be so for real. I didn't even realize it until I was plugging in my computer to record this episode. I was like, uh-oh.
Well, you're going to also laugh at mine. Well, you're going to laugh at mine as well. So we're in this together.
Hey.
Are they all in Hollywood studios?
No. But they're all in the same park.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, well, I listen, we at least know we've got 2 locations of diversity here, and there's a lot, depending on which park you pick. Hollywood Studios is a good one, and I know Fry's got some good ones, too. I will say, confirming, however, that mine do run the gamut from maybe even a resort area, not necessarily a park, a state where a Disney property currently does not exist, and parks that everyone knows and loves. And then, of course, some noble mutterings. We've got some noble mutterings in there.
Of course, noble mutterings, yes.
But before we get to all this, between Demi and I, Fry, we always love to start with our guest. So, would you like to roll out your first favorite unbuilt Disney attraction at the same park that the rest of your choices are from?
Yes, I would love to start. And I'm going to quiz the two of you, actually, to begin with. Because
we're already starving out here in Haymarket, and now you're going to quiz my starving
You have to
brain?
earn the cheese balls. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, that's...
I mean, fair.
I had to earn them, so you have to earn them.
I'm ready to earn them.
When I was researching this topic, first of all, I'm so glad and honored that you asked me to be a part of this topic specifically. I was kind of refreshing my mind on like specific reasons why things didn't get built or what happened, what have you. And I came across 3 that I thought were really interesting. They all happen to be in the same park. And on top of that, they all happen to be in the same land in that park.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay, is this our quiz? We have to guess?
I would like you to guess what you think I'm talking about.
Okay. Same land.
Tomorrowland, Disneyland.
Well,
no?
And I can give hints if you think you need hints.
Well, wait, let me take my first guess. Okay. So I'm going to say this is going to be knowing Fry.
I don't know, I might surprise you.
This is a resort? You've been to this resort?
Yes.
Okay, you've been to it. Um,
Is it New
Recently?
Orleans Square?
Not New Orleans Square, no.
Main
Alright,
Street?
Not Main Street.
Adventureland?
Give us a hint. Give us a hint.
Fantasyland.
Okay, first hint, I'll tell you, it's Disney World, a Disney World park.
Oh, I really thought you were going to throw me for a loop and do Disneyland. That's why I kept thinking Disneyland
Nope.
stuff.
Is it going to be Beastly
No.
Kingdom?
That's a good guess,
Is it Liberty? Oh, okay.
but it's not.
Where Pandora, where
I'm
Pandora
stumped.
sits?
No,
That's
Dinosaurs?
Beastly Kingdom.
there's another one.
Oh, right. Dinosaur area? No? Okay.
Nope.
Oh,
Is it the
God.
big boat? Oh, wait. Okay. Is it the Japan Pavilion? at
It is
Epcot?
the Japan Pavilion in Epcot.
I know exactly what attractions you're going to pick.
Mhm.
Yes.
Wait, how did we go from Beastly Kingdom to Epcot? I'm so
I don't know,
lost
but
here.
he got it.
There was a connection there, and there are some really exciting attractions that were going to be at this pavilion. So, Fry, why don't you start off with one of them, and then we'll go around in our usual style. But give us what hit us.
Yes. So the first attraction that we're going to talk about, which in general, I think it's crazy that I guess Disney so badly wanted an attraction in Japan. They tried 3 times and it never worked. So maybe
Oh, yeah.
one day,
Okay.
but not so far.
Fingers crossed.
So the first attraction that Disney talked about building in the Japan Pavilion in Epcot is a Mount Fuji roller coaster. There was supposed to be
Yes.
another Matterhorn style attraction where you're going around the mountain. Most of the ride, it looked like from concept art, it was going to be inside the mountain, not necessarily outside. However, it did not happen because when Epcot was being built, first getting open, they tried to get a lot of sponsors for every single World Showcase pavilion. And so that was kind of hard with some instances. And this coaster specifically did not happen because of Disney's partnership with Kodak. Because Kodak was the sponsor of the Japan Pavilion, and they didn't want a Mount Fuji
film.
coaster because that's basically advertising their competition. So it kind of Kodak was like, let's not, and Disney had to say, okay, it did not happen. And so we lost out on a roller coaster in the Japan Pavilion, and I'm really upset about it.
Curses!
This is one that has long plagued me ever since I was a child, and every time I go to Disney or to Epcot, I think about this, and I always imagine where the entrance would have been because it was supposed to be situated right behind where Mitsukoshi is right now. And if you ride the Skyliner now, I love when they put that in. That was the first thing I remember the first time I rode it on the way to Epcot is you can kind of see the plot of land now behind the Japan Pavilion where this would have gone. And it's a really large plot of land. And the concept art is really, really cool. I mean, you can see the roller coaster does kind of do a sweeping curve outside of the mountain. And we can kind of, at the time that this was under consideration, we can guess that it probably would have been either an Aerodynamics or a Vekoma design from coaster nerds out there. Now, Vekoma obviously works with Disney a lot now. They've done a lot of the contemporary coasters that are there, such as Expedition Everest. But this would have been such a cool thing to precede Cosmic Rewind because Epcot went so long without a roller coaster, and there were so many that were proposed because there was also supposed to be an actual Matterhorn at Epcot too in a Switzerland pavilion. They devised that as well, and then that didn't end up happening. So,
do we know, was this supposed to be like a family style roller coaster, like with a small height requirement, or like more of adult centered?
No.
I think, judging by the concept art, I think they were trying to play it up as a bigger attraction. It definitely looks like it would have been along the same thrill level as something like probably Expedition Everest, I would say, is probably the max that it would have been. Yeah.
And there was enough room back there for another type of ride as big as Everest? I'll have to take a look next time I'm on the Skyliner.
Yeah, you should.
Mm-hmm. It would have backed up right to where the Skyliner kind of almost is. That's the plot of land that it would have taken up. So, and it would have been such a cool weenie, as they call them, a little weenie. We all love weenies.
What are you talking about?
So a weenie is
There's
like,
our opening
I
tag.
know. Please,
Am I in an episode of
please do
SpongeBob?
not cut and put me on the internet saying I love weenies. But basically, it's like the park.
Weenie Hut Junior.
It's like the park icon. So like Cinderella Castle, Tower of Terror, Spaceship Earth. That's a weenie.
I've never heard it called a weenie
Yeah.
in my life.
Because it's like essentially, it's like a, you know, how like a, this is my understanding of it, is that it's almost like when you wave like a weenie in front of like a dog or something, they come running. It's like
You can wave anything in front of a dog. It has to be a weenie? I know
like
if
a
I wave,
sausage.
I can wave. All right, I wave a treat. I wave cheese to my dog. He comes running for everything. It doesn't have to be a weenie. It could have
It's
been
like-
a slice of cheese.
Well, a cheesy, but
A cheesy.
it just the weenie is the attraction that is pulling guests into the area that they can see
Right.
from far away.
I
So,
swear I've never heard this in my life, in my theme
Yeah.
park loving life.
yeah,
Wow.
it's a weenie, and I feel like we've hit our word for the rest of the episode, because I feel like weenie, we haven't heard the rest of weenie. But this is a really good pick for I love, this is one also that constantly brings me back anytime I am doing my little unwell deep dives of unbuilt Disney attractions at like 4 a.m. I always find myself coming back to the Japan Pavilion, because there are so many interesting things, and also really cool things that almost went into Epcot in general. Like there was a whole Venezuela pavilion, there was a Russia pavilion, and a Thames River Ride, and the UK pavilion. Like there's so much cool stuff there. So way to kick us off, Fry.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Fry. I mean, it definitely, and we'll hear from you more about it, I guess, later, but like that, like Epcot in general, anytime I'm walking through, as I wear my Epcot shirt right now, I just walk around those pavilions and I'm just like, here's what ride I would put here.
Yeah.
This land needs a ride, and I think every land should have some sort of attraction or ride.
Same.
I mean, I don't understand how we haven't gotten to that point yet. I mean, I don't understand why we don't have a Rapunzel boat ride in Germany.
Don't talk to me about that. I'll get upset.
Oh,
Please.
I'll get upset.
I know. I'm going to get very upset. About it. I mean, whatever. I mean, we can blue sky that another day, but
well, do you think that's Fry? Do you think that could be, now that so much work has gone into Epcot in the front half of the park of Future and the Cosmic Rewind and all of this? Do you think that now maybe the new phase under Tomorrow could be focusing on World Showcase? Like, do we think that could be, because nothing has really been announced for the future of Epcot so far. It's the only park that doesn't really have anything coming
Very
yet.
true. I really hope so, because he's a full-on parks guy, and I think that's great. I obviously would love a Tangled Rapunzel boat ride. She's one of my favorite princesses, but I do feel like a lot of people would want, or would argue with that, saying it's too much IP, with like original Epcot attractions just kind of having their own thing. I could see both sides of the story, but I just want more attractions in general in the World Showcase, because I think it deserves it.
yeah, I think having more anchor attractions around will definitely help, not only like help spread out people around the park, but will give more people like wanting to be around there more, other than just eating and drinking.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. A weenie, you might say.
Oh, get a weenie in Germany and go on Rapunzel.
The people need
Hell yeah.
weenies.
The peeps need weenies.
There you go.
They do.
I know.
I'm
I mean,
cutting
like,
that
how do
one.
we not? How do we not have a Mulan attraction, you guys? Come on,
I know.
that'd be so amazing.
Circle
Anyway.
Vision, Christina Aguilera singing "Where will my reflection?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just like the Kylie Minogue attraction heading to Universal UK. That's
Yeah.
a callback. All right, Demi,
Yeah.
why don't you give us your first one?
Well, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone that has ever heard me open my mouth. That
I
of
know
course
what it's going to be.
Of course, I'm going to talk about the Great Muppet Movie Ride.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure are.
I can't believe, and I love that we have said that we are recording this on May 4th, because I was going to say it anyway, on the day of the Star Wars Day. And let me tell you, I love me Rise of the Resistance. I think it is one of the greatest attractions ever built, point blank, period. But I would rather have that smacked out of the way just to have my Great Muppet Movie Ride, because where this was supposed to be situated was right kind of like in that area, because you were going to have that whole Muppet area, and it was going to have to extend into where Galaxy's Edge is right now, where like Rise of the Resistance is. And what it was supposed to be like a parody of the Great Movie Ride, and the Great Movie Ride obviously was an attraction where you would ride through all the different movies. But this was going to be a totally chaotic Muppet-filled attraction where you enter through like this like old warehouse, and you get the quote-unquote behind-the-scenes look of movies, but it's like totally inaccurate and totally crazy. Gonzo was supposed to be like the director. Statler and Waldorf were supposed to like either be following you were going to be like in a golf cart, like going backstage, like driving in a golf cart. So they were either going to be like riding beside you or showing up in each scenes in a balcony, which I think I would prefer that, to like, you know, make comments on every scene. There was going to be a Dr. Zhivago scene with Kermit and Piggy in a snow globe. I mean, we were completely robbed of this attraction. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this was so close to happening, you guys. And it hurts my heart that unfortunately the reason why it didn't happen is because of the passing of Jim Henson in 1990. We were very, 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 very robbed of an incredible attraction that would have worked perfectly, I think, especially in that era of like MGM. But
oh yeah,
I'm sad we never got to see it. But there was so much. There was full concept art for it.
They did, obviously, like we did get Muppet Vision and Demi, like we talked about with Jackie on a few episodes ago. There was a lot of that foundational work for what was going into this section of Hollywood Studios, which was then MGM. You can trace it back to the Muppetville theme park that was never built. So it's really interesting to see all the things that they devised for Muppets before it ended up being what it is. And there's so much history and thought put into it. And oh well. R.I.P. to the Muppets once again. But they are soon to be resurrected on May 26th. But, all right. I'm going to go on to my first pick, which, again, all of my things are in different locations.
Good for you.
Sorry.
Yeah. And good for you. So, my first one is, though, in a state. Actually, I'll quiz y'all. When I say a state that does not currently have a Disney attraction, or actually has never had a Disney attraction, do you know what I'm talking about? An American state, a mainland American state.
That has never had a Disney attraction?
Yep, and currently doesn't.
Like, including like a Disney store?
Oh, I'm sure they've had Disney stores, yeah. I wouldn't call that an attraction, though.
No. I mean, wouldn't that be open up to a lot of states?
Well, yeah.
So, you're asking me to narrow down 50 states.
Well, yes, but one that doesn't have a state, but was proposed to have a Disney attraction. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's
narrows
not what
it
you
down
said.
to
you were like
40. Thanks.
I'm just going to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell y'all.
Listen, the way you just said that was, guess what state never had a Disney?
Most of them.
You know what? My brain works in mysterious ways, okay? And I'm going to fill your brain in now with this little tidbit.
Sure.
So, Walt Disney's Riverfront Square in St. Louis, Missouri. Have you ever heard of this?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know anything, so educate me.
Well, in the 1960s, Walt Disney and his team explored the idea of building an entirely indoor theme park in St. Louis, Missouri called Riverfront Square. Now, the deal, very TLDR history of this, the deal fell apart in 1965 after the city could not foot the $30 to $50 million bill because it was already being drained by funneling resources into other entertainment projects in St. Louis, because Disney, the only way that they would do this is if St. Louis funded it. But the proposed park would have been, I think, interesting because at the time, it wasn't really standard for a theme park to be indoor. Now we see them all over. They're all over the Middle East. There's theme parks in malls in the United States. Like, it's a very common thing now. But It actually came decades before Disney's other short-lived indoor theme park ideas, such as Disney Quest. And the Disney park that's allegedly going to Abu Dhabi is apparently going to be half or partially indoor. So it laid the foundation for other Disney rides and attractions that also still operate at parks today. And I'll trace those for you in a moment. But obviously, Walt Disney has connections to Missouri through Marceline, his hometown. And he was drawn to Missouri as a destination as a result of his connection to the state. And the original blueprints for this proposed park were actually fully unveiled in 2015 when they went up for auction. So you can now go online and fully see these full, and it's not just concept art. It is actually full schematic plans for what this was going to be. And it was a multi-level building that this was going to be built on. So, and Walt is actually quoted as saying about this, Missouri and the history of Missouri are important to me, and that the square would be oriented toward the family, and prices at restaurants and exhibits would be compatible with average family incomes. The exhibits would be built around the history of St. Louis and its role as the gateway to the West. So the whole sort of, what was that era called in American history? The, was it Manifest? Manifest Destiny? What am I thinking of? There was a name for this, but like essentially the expansion westward.
That's definitely a term that I used in like school,
middle school.
Something.
Yeah, it was something
I'm old
about
now,
the
so
expansion west, the American expansion west, because Walt obviously was obsessed with that idea. But initially, the city of St. Louis wanted Walt to help construct and design a 360-degree theater style attraction for the city, but this is what Walt devised instead. So sections of it would have included a Merrimack Cavern area with boats traveling through the caverns as if they were traversing a river. There were New Orleans street fronts, a Circle Vision theater, a Hofbrau, which is like a German beer hall. There was an audio animatronics theater that would have included various figures from American history, such as Thomas Jefferson. Then there was the Blue Bayou boat ride that would eventually lay the foundation for Pirates of the Caribbean, as it would center on the story of real-life pirate Jean Lafitte. There was also a haunted house attraction that would later help lay the foundation for what would become the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, that also included a stretching room elevator with ghostly apparitions in the room. There were also reportedly plans for a Snow White themed roller coaster. And if you go onto the schematics, you can actually see these things written in there on the schematics as to what would go in there. So we know these things were confirmed to be planned to go here. Another planned attraction was a Lewis and Clark boat ride, which eventually, funny enough, that we are recording in Haymarket, Virginia today, because when this plan was canceled in 1965, it re-emerged, because we know no idea ever really truly dies at Disney. It re-emerged in the concept art for Disney's America before finally landing in its current form. Do you know where?
Where?
California Adventure as Grizzly River Run.
Oh.
So that attraction has its roots dating all the way back to the 60s, the Lewis and Clark ride that Walt Disney had envisioned for an indoor amusement park in St. Louis. So,
and yes, it was Manifest Destiny. That is the correct term.
look at me. But I do kind of think that this probably, sadly, I love this, and I think that the concept art for this is really cool, and I think it's one of the most ambitious things that Disney has really, especially for the time, doing an indoor multi-level amusement park like this.
Yeah.
I mean, or theme park. I mean, the boats actually would have dropped down level to level, and it would have been this interwoven, just massive cavern of attractions. And I think while it was progressive, I do unfortunately think I always get scared to think about this, because as much as I would have loved to have seen this, I do fear that it would have failed, because St. Louis, like, especially in the 1960s, who's going to St. Louis on a family vacation? And I fear that if it had actually happened and failed, we might not have Walt Disney World today. And that as cool as this is, I do fear that it might have killed Disney World, because there's no way that this would have succeeded. Fry. Let's move on to your second.
All right, we are going back to the Japan Pavilion in Epcot for my second one. You already knew that. But now, I don't think this attraction is as well known. Y'all might already know about it. But did you know that another attraction proposed for the Japan Japan Pavilion was going to be kind of a mix of like a walkthrough attraction and a Circle D Vision attraction. They love those Circle 3D movies, but it was going to be a bullet train in Japan. So it was going to kind of simulate what a bullet train in Japan would look like. The windows on the train would move, showing beautiful Japan landscapes. Kind of imagine, honestly, the Hogwarts Express in Universal Orlando.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but in Japan. Apparently, rumor has it, no sponsor was ever attached to this project. However, Fujifilm was thinking about it. They were interested. and we know how Kodak would have felt about that. So
they said no,
so
ma'am.
It never happened, but I think this would have been so much fun, and honestly, I'm okay with a Circle 3D Vision show. I'm in the parks a lot. I need to get out of the heat, like we just said, so I'll go in and watch a show. I think this would have been more entertaining than just standing in a room looking at all the screens. Like, this would have been more exciting, feeling like you're actually there.
Yeah.
So I love this idea, but it never came to me.
Yeah, because they would have actually it would have been like you were actually sitting in a train. It wouldn't have been just the normal theater setup. And there was also, wasn't there... I remember reading somewhere that there was also actually at one point planned to be a Godzilla scene in it.
Oh, I've heard that, but I've also heard that connected to the coaster.
Yeah, it was there. I think it's like one of those things that just gets lost in translation in the history of these things that never got built. But I remember reading somewhere that there was going to be some sort of Godzilla interaction somewhere on one of these things. Which that would be so cool if that actually happened.
Yeah.
Is that not like IP Godzilla?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, Disney would just probably have to license it from...
Oh, it is IP. It's not just like folklore.
Like the Godzilla
like,
movies,
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Godzilla is IP, so he's an original character. But I mean, they're Japanese kaiju. That is a general term for those sort of big monsters. That's not necessarily a trademark thing, but Godzilla definitely is. So they would have had to do some sort of IP tie in there, which would have been really cool. I mean, and this is something that I think probably we would have lost along the way at EPCOT at some point, just because the technology seems like it would have been very specific to the time. But just think of what you could have done. Like, you could have updated it with something like Big Hero 6 at some point, or how cool would that have been? It just, it's a lot of these things. I am kind of just like, you're not going to tell me that Euro Disney really financially strapped Disney World that much that they couldn't have given us one of these really cool things.
Yeah.
Think of the unborn people who didn't come until like 10, 15, 20 years later. Think of us. What about us?
Yeah.
How rude for them to not think of us.
What about the children? Exactly. Thank you. They should have been thinking of me specifically.
You specifically. Absolutely.
Yes. Who wouldn't have been also at the time of devising a Godzilla attraction for Disney been thinking of me? It's quite rude, but Fry,
I agree.
You've seen the concept art, right? Like what?
It looked very pretty.
It's so cool. It is. It's very colorful.
Yes. It looked great.
It's very, very colorful. It really did. And I just wonder where this one would have gone.
I don't know.
Because I'm trying to think of, because everything that is currently open at the Japan Pavilion is kind of an existing structure. I don't know that they've necessarily added anything.
I don't think so. I think all that stuff was built for the opening.
Yeah. So this must have been intertwined with the coaster at some point. I would imagine that maybe the coaster was elevated somehow and this was underneath it. But yeah, what an opportunity missed, I think, for the Japan Pavilion. I am curious to know what your third one is, though, now, because now those are the only two that I know from Japan.
That's so exciting.
Well,
actually.
now we have to wait.
I saved the best one for last. Don't worry.
Yeah, because I don't think I know any other ones. I'm really excited, actually, to see what you're going to say for your number 3. Well, thank you, Fry, for that one. Okay, Demi, what is your number 2?
Well, I'm going to take you guys back over to Disney's Hollywood Studios because
here we
told
go.
you that we're going to stay there. And picture this. No rock and roller coaster. But I know. No rock and roller coaster, like even the previous version with Aerosmith. Because you know why? There could have been Baby Herman's runaway
yeah,
buggy.
I know.
So shout out to Medi, who did all of our photos for Park Peeps, because she is a fellow Who Framed Roger Rabbit fan, one of my favorite movies ever, and does not have enough love ever. But you can still see nods to this attraction and Roger Rabbit in Hollywood studios here and there. But this was supposed to actually happen. This got pretty far. But basically what the ride was, it was supposed to be a guests would visit Maroon Studios, which was the studio in the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Baby Herman, if you remember, was the cartoon baby that had the little stogie, the cigar. My stogie!
Yeah, my stogie.
And he's refusing to do all of his own stunts because they're too dangerous. And so you and your party would be recruited as stunt doubles. And you'd be fitted with a giant yellow baby bonnet, which is actually the ride restraints, and these oversized baby buggies. The buggies would go through the cartoon hospital, bouncing over beds, crashing through doors, and zooming downstairs in chaotic high-speed chase that captured the squash and stretch physics of Toontown. And it got pretty far. Like, there was detailed blueprints, concept art, and a full-scale ride of a mock-up. And what happened was the project got canceled due to the divorce of Disney and Steven Spielberg. Which obviously, yeah, the divorce. Which obviously he got remarried to some other park down the road.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
It was a messy divorce.
Yes, that is a messy divorce. It was getting the baby.
That E.T. pregnant home.
But yeah, so legal disputes over the rights to Roger Rabbit and his supporting cast became so heated that Disney effectively shelved almost all Roger Rabbit projects in Florida. Luckily, California and Disneyland, you can still ride Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin in Toontown. But
well, as we talked about earlier in this episode, Demi, we are no longer spinning. We're spinning, but we're not we're controlled spinning now. We're not manually spinning.
Right.
So. I mean, yeah, Who's Framed Roger Rabbit was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, and I would have loved to have seen this attraction. I do almost think that some of these early attractions, there are ones that I look at and I'm like, maybe that wasn't the best idea to bring there, because I do think that a movie like Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not necessarily as timeless as something like The Muppets or something like Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. I think that these are...
You don't think that Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the movie that had Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny at the same time, is not like the most iconic thing ever?
I personally, yes, I love it, but I don't think
there's a piano duel between Daffy and Donald Duck. What more do you want?
I think you are confusing personal taste with
but does everybody know that
value in a
theme
park.
Does everybody know that? Because I don't think everybody does.
Yeah, no, but not everybody does know
I understand. This is like when I argue with people who get annoyed that it's not going to be Powerline and it's the Muppets.
I don't think that the mainstream consciousness is that attached to Who Framed Roger Rabbit as they are something like the Muppets. So I do kind of look back and I'm like,
that's a 70-year span of multiple shows and movies. Like you can't compare the Muppets really to mostly anything except maybe like Mickey and Friends. You know what I mean? Like
the Muppets are 70 years old.
Yeah, it was their 70th anniversary. They every day they posted a Muppet on their Instagram for the 70th.
How many years ago was 70? Wait. 1950 50s?
Sure. I don't math. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just it's sad, but you can see in Echo Lake, you'll see the Roger Rabbit sign, and then you'll see one of the doors above that says like Eddie Valiant.
Yeah.
And I just, I mean, it's sad that, yes, listen, one single movie can never take over like something that spans generations, obviously, like that. But like, I think that, I mean, honestly, this is just my hope to like anyone who's never seen this movie. I think you're missing out on peak cinema. I personally would have loved an attraction for Roger Rabbit, but you know, I mean, now we're getting Muppets at Rock and Roller Coaster, so I can't complain.
I just think it would have started to feel the same way that I have a nostalgia for what used to be at the old MGM of, you know, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playset and the studio tour, and there was a Roger Rabbit section there in that had a bunch of visual gags and things that you could walk through and do, and it was fun. But I think of it now, even back when I was a kid, it kind of felt like a relic. It didn't necessarily feel like something that was new and fresh, and I fear that this attraction would have felt the same way, because I don't necessarily know that they would have been using the most sustainable like technology that would have endured over the years.
No,
and
again, like how I said before, I fully would be very aware that in 2026 this ride would not exist.
Yeah, it'd be so sad.
Back again in the MGM heyday, it would have
slapped.
Yeah, I think it would have fit perfectly in MGM Studios, but then they redid the whole park. Yeah. So
I know. Well, we can dream about it, I guess, and look at concept art. Thank you, Demi, for that. Now I'm going to go through my number 2 very quickly. But did y'all know? And we're jumping to a new location for everyone who wants to buckle up. Did y'all know that there was going to be... Actually, I'm not going to talk about the other one, but there were 2 documented instances of Disney wanting to build new mountain attractions in Magic Kingdom. So, first one would have been Geyser Mountain, which eventually was also proposed for Disneyland Paris. But the second one, which I'm going to talk about now, goes hand in hand with an attraction that also would have opened at Disneyland. So look at that. I'm giving you 2 locations. Fire Mountain was proposed for Magic Kingdom, and it went hand in hand with the Atlantis expedition that was proposed for Disneyland that would have replaced Autopia in the submarine voyage. That damp attraction that we constantly bring up on the spot.
Could have had a mountain instead of those 2 rides.
Could have had 2 peaks, twin peaks on both coasts. But Fire Mountain was, and actually with Atlantis Expedition, there actually was signage in the park that said Atlantis Expedition coming to Disneyland. It was, and I think Quincy even said she remembers seeing this when she was a kid at the park. I think she told us that once. But so Fire Mountain and Atlantis Expedition were obviously tied to the flop animated movie Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So this would have been located at Magic Kingdom in the plot of land adjacent to Pirates of the Caribbean in Magic Kingdom, which is currently recently where some rumors of a Moana-themed attraction had sort of bubbled up in Adventureland. But this was planned to coincide with not only the release of Disney's animated film Atlantis: The Lost Empire, but also with the opening, as I said, of the Atlantis Expedition ride that was to replace Autopia and the submarine attraction at Disneyland. So the Magic Kingdom attraction was a little more out there and didn't appear to be as concrete, and both projects were ultimately shelved once Atlantis: The Lost Empire flopped. It only made $186 million on a reported $90 to $100 million budget. But Fire Mountain reportedly would have been Disney's first foray into a flying coaster model, which around 2000 to 2001, when this started to bubble up, would have only been possible via the aforementioned roller coaster manufacturer Vekoma, which had released at the time its Flying Dutchman model to a park that I have actually spoken about on this pod before, my dear Geauga Lake that used to be in Ohio. There was one there, and there was also one at Paramount's Great America in California. So there was a few of these iterations of this ride, but essentially the ride system, you board the attraction, you sit on, you get strapped into, it almost looks like you're sitting on a, one of those tables that people used to like flip you upside down to realign your back or whatever. It's almost like you get on that and then it goes down and you're laying on your back and you go up the lift hill on your back, and then at the top the track shifts until you're in a flying position like 115 feet in the air. So this is reportedly the ride system that it would have utilized, and the story would have followed the Atlantis crew from the films. Riders would have soared through the volcano, past scenes of eruptions and lava, and there's actually a piece of concept art for this that you can see on WGW News Today, and it shows the actual, like, the drill bit from the Atlantis movie sitting outside. There's a little mine cart, there's a volcano in the back, which the volcano would have been the weenie, and you can actually see Bay Lake in the background of the concept art too, so it would have been right on that edge there. And it just, there's a lot of really cool, it's towards the end of the Eisner era, these really cool kind of, I think this was probably a little bit further along than Blue Sky, because like I said, they did put the banner at Disneyland, the Atlantis attraction was coming, and I think if that film had been a success, both of these things definitely would have happened. But another one that's kind of hard to imagine still around today with because even if that movie was a financial success, it just doesn't have the same staying power. It doesn't even have the cult favoritism, I think.
I was just going to say, you keep calling it a flop, and the Atlantis stands are going to lose their minds, even though it was technically a flop. Well, they got that movie. Their movie was a flop, honey.
I understand that. I'm just saying
No, I'm speaking to them, not you.
Yes. There is a huge group of people that really, really love Atlantis and have been begging for a live action movie, begging for attractions. It's that and Treasure Planet have always been those two movies that people
I get them confused, let's be real. I won't discount their fandom for this. But Fry, were you a fan of Atlantis The Lost Empire?
She's too young.
I've never seen it.
Fry's like,
I'll be honest.
I just think it's weird that this is what I think is wise, and why we don't usually see this anymore, is them announcing attractions before the films come out.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very strange. I mean, there are photos of this banner announcing, and let me be clear, that Fire Mountain was not slated to go to Disneyland. The only thing that was slated to go to Disneyland was the Atlantis Adventure sort of overlay of the submarine ride. But these two things were sort of intertwined, and it's just like, why would you announce two giant projects and before your movie even came out? And yes, your movie that went on to flop, all you Atlantis stands.
Don't be mean to them.
Well, I'm not being mean to them. I'm giving them a reality check.
I need you to know that one of my favorite restaurants growing up was called Fire Mountain. And that's all I've been thinking about your whole section. It was a buffet. It was like a Golden Corral.
What type of cuisine was this?
Like your typical Golden Corral buffet. Like, go up to each station.
And why was it called Fire Mountain? Because it would give you a fire in your tummy because the food is bad?
Probably. It no longer exists. There was just the one restaurant, and now it's a cardiologist office. So if that tells you anything.
That is so funny.
So that's all I've been thinking about the entire time you've been talking is my Fire Mountain.
Hey, sorry to bore you, but also happy to have taken you back to your childhood fantasy restaurant. Yeah. And hopefully you never had to visit the cardiologist that was there, because that would be quite a dire turn. Yeah. But right.
Good job, Joey. I didn't know about those. I can't believe I never heard about either of that, and I appreciate that. And sorry to Atlantis fans out there for Joey's.
Well, I'm not. I'm not sorry. All right, Fry, let's bring her home. What's your third Japan Pavilion attraction that I've actually never heard of?
Okay, so this one, kind of crazy lore here, originally was supposed to be in the Japan Pavilion in EPCOT. Did not come to be in Japan in EPCOT, but it did eventually come to be in another park around the world. Stop. So this was called Meet the World. And the entire show building was built in Japan. Like, it is the big show building behind Mitsukoshi. Okay?
Uh-huh.
This attraction did appear in Tokyo Disneyland from 1983 to 2002. It basically told the story of Japan's history through animatronics and projections very similar to the Carousel of Progress. But instead of revolving around the outside of the stages, you were on the inside. So it was kind of swapped. So the audience capacity was a little bit smaller, but the stages were bigger. So it's kind of opposite. It even had a catchy song written by the Sherman Brothers.
Sing it.
I don't know. I can't.
Oh my gosh.
It's not as catchy as Carousel of Progress, but they wrote it. So.
Okay.
Love that for them. Love their work.
Yes.
In EPCOT in Japan, the show building would have been 2 stories. It would have gone through the back of Mitsukoshi where the museum is now and back of the department store. That was the entrance to the ride. The second floor would have been the attraction and the queue and the pre-show. Like, it was all kind of on the second floor. They built the building, but after building it, they realized they had miscalculated dimensions and the support beams and overall structure could not house the attraction. They would have had to completely redo the building, and EPCOT was already behind schedule and over budget, so they just scrapped it.
They said, no, ma'am, we can't wait any longer, not for this spinning Japanese theater.
But they scrapped it, but then there was a souvenir book that you could buy in EPCOT, like, when it first opened, and in the book mentioned the ride. And it said it was going to open in the second phase of the World Showcase, but it never opened.
Whoever has that is a millionaire.
That book also talked about the Germany boat ride that also never came to be.
But you can still see the entrance for where that would have been too. They carved out that archway that is in the Germany pavilion that was going to be the entrance for that ride too. This is so cool. I've never heard of this one, and I wonder if they would have used, because I know there's a lot of really intricate theatrical history in Japan, and I wonder if there would have been incorporation of, Japanese puppetry and really costumes and different theatrical style presentations that would have been. As I can only imagine how jaw-dropping this would have been. It sounds like there's rarely, and it's not because of I'm not interested in learning about other cultures, but I think it's the way that things are presented in the World Showcase and the current attractions that they have, like the theater shows and stuff. They just don't necessarily seem like that's something that's pulling me out of my normal park day to do. That is absolutely something that I would plop my little butt down in there and watch and be immersed in that culture, because there's so much that you can do with a show like that. Again, to evolve it and bring it into the now. I mean, I'm thinking of Disney could have gotten in on licensing Pokemon before Universal did and put like a Pokemon scene in there. And there was so much opportunity, I think, for something like that. I actually have chills thinking about how cool that could have been.
I know. With Japan, like, the possibilities are endless. And
the music and the costumes.
Yeah, so you can find footage of it in Tokyo Disneyland, but it was supposed to be in EPCOT first.
Oh, I love that. So, yeah, because like you said, it eventually it didn't die necessarily, it just went to Tokyo Disney. But it used the same rotating revolving theater.
That I need to check on. But same song.
We'll dig into that.
Same song. In the concept art and even the videos that I've seen, there's like a scene where some animatronics are in this like hot air balloon and it's like going across the sky, and it just looks, I just wish it really happened. Because I love the Carousel of Progress. That's one of my favorites. So to get more of those around Disney World, I would be in there all the time.
Fry, that's your wish?
Yes.
We have to when we say our wish, we do this.
Oh.
That's my wish.
That's my wish, is for more Carousels of Progress in every single Disney park, everywhere.
Yes. Fry, that is such a good entry. I really am thrilled to learn about this. I thank you for introducing me to this, because this is exactly the kind of thing that I would go on a deep dive YouTube to look at and learn the history of. So that is so cool. I don't love a theater show, but I like a animatronic theater show.
Was it in English?
It was
in Japan.
There was half. Like, it was in Japanese and English. Yeah. But that was kind of the one that I was like, I should talk about all of my Japan attractions, because that's crazy lore.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It's
great.
great.
I appreciate that, because I didn't really know much about all that stuff, and I loved the Japan Pavilion, and I loved Japan in general, and I love hearing more things about Japan, and now I want a Japan attraction.
Me too. Well, let's petition.
Yes.
All right, Demi, let's bring her home with your third.
My third, surprise, back to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, could you possibly imagine?
Yes.
Disney's Hollywood Studios without the Tower of Terror?
No.
Could you imagine it? Could you? I couldn't. It's like it wouldn't even. The park wouldn't even exist to me because that is Hollywood Studios to me. Is Tower
It's the
of Terror.
weenie.
But it's the weenie.
A weenie. I guess Hollywood Studios has two.
Yeah.
Double weenie.
That's true. Because yeah. And that's why I love doing my thumbnails. Like, oh, which weenie am I using today in the background?
Maybe a
Hollywood
third
Studios
weenie,
video.
the Millennium Falcon.
Triple
Oh my gosh,
mountain.
you're right.
Triple mountain weenie. Wham, wham, wham.
Anyway,
Love you, Stacy.
so before there was Tower of Terror, when they were trying to develop some sort of attraction there, the greatest human in the world, Mel Brooks, was approached. Mel Brooks is my hero. I got to meet him, and shout out, we're getting Spaceballs too. So excited. Am I allowed to say that, Joey? Okay. Anyway, I'm so excited. But surprisingly, it was not a Star Wars attraction, like a parody Star Wars thing, which would be hilarious nowadays with Galaxy's Edge. But they were pitching, what first was the original pitch was they were going to do like a Young Frankenstein attraction. And if you've never seen Young Frankenstein, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It is filmed in black and white. It is a parody.
I would like to say you've said that about all
Frankenstein.
3 attractions that you have mentioned today.
I Roger Rabbit, yes, is both these films that I'm talking about are like they're in my tops for me. Young Frankenstein actually is my favorite movie of all time, and Mel Brooks is actually like I am consumed by Mel Brooks. He's my hero. So this was a really great thing for me to talk about today. That I got to talk about 2 things that I love so much, and well, obviously 3 things, Muppets too. So, but the original pitch was supposed to be, where it was going to be like a Young Frankenstein, and they were going to have like Frankenstein's castle and like the whole like German village, and then it turned into what they referred to as Hotel Mel, which was the start of the developing of Tower of Terror.
Mel's weenie.
It was supposed to be a scary, funny experience, and guests would enter the hotel, and Mel was filming his latest horror comedy masterpiece. Now, like how we talked about before of like things that wouldn't really age very well, this would be on that list. I'm not delusional. I'm very aware that not everyone has the connection to Mel Brooks that I have, even though you're wrong. But I mean, I think it would be so funny. Instead of Rod Serling, you walk in, there's Mel Brooks. But basically, they were having like a hard time finding the tone for this. You would have Mel Brooks on monitors throughout the queue, frantically directing a chaotic movie set. The ride itself envisioned as a tour through the set featuring animatronic monsters and slapstick situations like Frankenstein's monster trying to use a toaster. But it just wasn't really working tonally. And so Mel Brooks was very notoriously hands-on. Some would maybe say difficult in certain situations when it comes to creativity, because he knew what was right, and trust him. That's all I have to say. And so there was for real Imagineering concepts drawn out for this. This was like a pretty like drawn out thing that they were really trying to go for. There was going to be high audio animatronics, high-end audio animatronics. I can't speak anymore. And there was going to be like physical comedy, but basically it just, they couldn't find the right tone, and they dropped the idea, and that was it.
Yeah, Tower of Terror went through some really interesting things in its history. It was also initially proposed to be a very old style of drop tower attraction that didn't have randomized sequences, and there's actually an old form. Actually, Demi, I think it used to be at Cedar Point, but now it's at Dorney Park. I know you have a YouTube video about Dorney Park last year, but there's called the Demon Drop. And
yeah, I did that.
Yes, and that was initially the ride model that the original Tower of Terror was going to be. It was just going up and then dropping, and yeah.
Well, thank goodness it's not that.
Yeah. But It's really cool. There was also some sort of, I remember reading somewhere about there being some sort of monster awards show or something. I don't know if that was when Mel Brooks was involved at some point too. It was like they were going to do a theater show and giving awards to monsters and villains of Disney history or something.
Maybe, but do you know why it became a thrill ride?
No.
Michael Eisner.
Oh, we do love our guy, little Michael Eisner. We really do. We do.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you, Demi.
All I have to say is Dark Universe who? Disney tried to do it first.
It sure did.
Yeah, I mean, that was the craziest part of learning that, like, they were going to build, like, a full-on Frankenstein castle, and I'm just like, could you imagine?
That'd be crazy.
Like, that would be so weird.
Yeah. I would be interested to see how that would happen. I wish there could be a Mel Brooks animatronic. That would actually be pretty interesting.
Oh my god, I would lose my
Just
mind.
like Quincy wants to kiss the Dracula animatronic, she wants to kiss the Mel Brooks animatronic.
Yes.
I don't want to kiss him.
Demi doesn't want to kiss the Mel Brooks animatronic.
I don't want to kiss him. I just want to, like, talk to him and ask him a billion
That's
questions.
fine. I was just trying to make another t-shirt. It's okay, I'll wear it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah. That would be in Demi's basement, though, at this point. Demi would have spent all her life savings because that attraction would be closed today, and Demi would have brought it into her basement. So,
I mean, I am the way I am because of Mel Brooks movies, so 100%.
Love it. All right. I'm going to bring us home, and I'm going to try to get through this one quickly because we are running way over on time. But my third pick is... It is fun. It's really fun. I love it. Fort Wilderness Funhouse. Have y'all ever heard of this?
Funhouse?
Yes. Or Adventure House. Sometimes it's called Adventure House, Fort Wilderness Funhouse, or Fort Wilderness Adventure House.
No, and I love Fort Wilderness.
But this is so cool because it's, knowing me, you would think that I would pick a ride or something, but this is not a ride. This is actually at the Fort Wilderness and campground area. This would have been something that I do think this could have stood the test of time and might still be here with us today if it had happened. It just seems so low maintenance and cool and a rare themed walkthrough attraction outside the main gates of a Disney park, but still on a Disney resort. This again would have been located at Fort Wilderness and was devised by the legendary Disney animator and Imagineer Marc Davis. So in 1976, Disney teased that expansions were coming to Fort Wilderness, and he said, quote, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who this quote is attributed to, but it is reported by passporttodreams.blogspot.com. So shout out to y'all. But the quote is, already the company's Imagineers are at work designing new attractions for river country, possibly to include more water slides, an additional raft ride, or a 2-man boat ride. Fort Wilderness itself is slated for further expansion in the near future. Plans call for a frontier town, a new recreational complex, and still more campsites. So initially known as The Roost, the first version would have been a funhouse style attraction hosted by characters named Jasper and Maud, the founders of a quirky hotel called The Roost, who would have shown visitors around their collection of peculiarities, as Jasper was an inventor and tinkered around with various designs. So the opening scene would have seen Jasper and Maud appear as ghosts to walk people through their wilderness style hotel, which would have included Maud's kitchen, which would have been built on an off-kilter access, and there would have been a gag where an optical illusion would manipulate the positioning of elements in the room, and it would have made it look like a chicken that was laying an egg would have rolled uphill after coming out of the chicken. And then there was the barrel room, which would have included lots of moving parts and spinning barrels. There's Paul Bunyan's bedroom, which would have seen its entire floor as a soft quilt or bounce area. The Hall of Doors would have had projection effects and would have made it seem as if each of the doors were opening in the hall would lead to some sort of gag or precarious instance, including a train coming toward guests. The attraction also would have seen Maud's chickens running rampant and roosting throughout the scenes, and who also would have been singing at various points and narrating the scenes. When it shifted in design to the Adventure House, the attraction scaled back on the funhouse style interactivity, and it leaned more on visual spectacle and oddities. So the pre-show in the Adventure House version would have seen the roosting chickens still there, and each time one would lay an egg, it would drop into a basket and a bell would ring, and eventually this would awaken a pre-show scene with Jasper and Maud. and they would then set out to explore the house, including a dining room where an overhead train track system delivered food. There was a greenhouse populated by animatronic man-eating plants that would be animated. There would be a layer of fog that would lay over the floor in that scene. And then my favorite, there was a photography studio room where a camera flash and an optical illusion would show shadows of different ghosts projected on the wall each time the camera would flash, and then they would all disappear and move around. And there was also a bathroom scene where a little alligator was taking a bathtub and a little shower cap, and it just looked really, really, really cool. But by 1978, the project appeared to be abandoned because Marc Davis retired, obviously, that year. So I also don't know how this would have worked, if it would have been a separate upcharge or because, it's a pretty substantive thing to have essentially what would have been, because anybody can go on property at a Disney resort to do this attraction. I imagine there would have been some logistical complications there, but it just seems like something that was so cool and out there, and only something that Disney of the past would have devised, because like a free walkthrough attraction at a resort, like, come on. It seems so cool and quirky, and just that old sort of Marc Davis style attraction that I really wish would have happened. But the concept art is all there. I wish it would have happened. And but the concept art is very cool, so everybody should go check out the concept art for this. It's a very interesting thing. So
I can't believe I never heard about this.
Yeah. Go look it up. Go check it out. It's really cool. But does anybody else have any noble mutterings? Because I do.
I've already mentioned Germany, but I do think, if people don't know about it, Germany boat ride is very fun because you can go back and knock on the wall and you can still hear, like, they built it, or at least maybe the queue for it. Who knows? But we could have had another boat ride. Seems like they wanted a lot of boat rides in Epcot. So I'm glad there's not that many, I guess.
Well, I guess the other one I was going to mention, which is such a recent departure, which was so in the works, was the Mary Poppins.
I was about to mention that one as well.
I have to say, and I know I've been saying this about everything today, but I love Mary Poppins. It is my favorite Disney movie. It is. I swear to God, it is.
You said that about like 5 different things.
That's not true. I said Young Prince is my favorite movie. Mary Poppins is my favorite Disney movie.
Okay, all right.
And it was gonna be a teacups ride though. Like, I would have loved some Mary Poppins ride, but that's just not. I don't need another teacups ride, so I'm not too sad about that one, honestly.
I just think the park needs capacity, so it's like, if they were gonna do it, they just should have done it. Honestly, I mean, it just brings some excitement and invigoration to this part of the park. It's like Disney. I think regular attendees don't care that. Because how many spinner rides do we have? At one point, we had the Triceratops spin, the Aladdin's Flying Carpets, 2 Dumbos, like the Astro Orbiter. We had like 6 different of the same exact ride.
Triceratops spin during the holidays, you could ride it and listen to Mariah Carey, so it was elite.
True. I will never combat that. But, well, if we have no more noble mutterings, I'm just going to rapid fire go through mine. So 1, I have no idea if this is true or not, but I do remember as a kid, a Disneyland cast member telling me in 2002 that a version of Rock and Roller Coaster starring No Doubt was heading to California Adventure, which would have made sense considering the band is from Anaheim. They were definitely more current than Aerosmith, and also the band named their breakout album Tragic Kingdom, so this would have made sense.
I've heard that before. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it.
I think I've mentioned it on this pod before, but I
heard it from you.
I think you heard it from me.
I should have just trolled little kids and told them new attractions were coming when I was a cast member.
Because it's like, this guy had no idea, but you know what? I'm going to put it in a noble muttering because he told me when I was a kid, and I believed it for the longest time because it also made sense. But then there's also Raleigh. This is my favorite one that I think of all this list. There's not as much information on it for me. But Raleigh Crump's Museum of the Weird at Disneyland. Essentially, this was legendary Imagineer Raleigh Crump had countless sketches and mock-ups for things during the development of Haunted Mansion. Walt was apparently so impressed with the things that Raleigh was designing, he proposed doing an offshoot attraction called the Museum of the Weird, which would have been a walkthrough showcase of antiquities and fantastical creations that didn't make it into the main Haunted Mansion. So just think of the photo opportunities we could have had in there today. I mean, that is just so cool. But the the last noble muttering that I have is the Herbie the Love Bug dark ride at Disneyland. Yes, it would have featured cars that broke apart mid-course and separated the which I don't know how safe that would have been, but they would have split apart in two at one point. But it would have essentially been a dark ride with 4 passenger cars that would travel through dark ride portions, and there was even a slight roller coaster inspired portion when you were driving over the Golden Gate Bridge. But the riders would have traveled through various scenes from the Herbie franchise, including, as I said, the Golden Gate Bridge. There has been a near miss with a cable car in San Francisco, a mine shaft, and even a chicken race with another car. So there's concept art for that all over the internet too. So loads and loads and loads of old Disney attractions and weenies of the past. But, we've got to snip this weenie off for this episode.
I hate that.
Wow, look at the time. I gotta go.
Fry's like, I'm dipping. Fry's dipping up out of here.
I lost connection.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. I mean, listen, Fry, what a journey. It's always a journey with you. We keep going into history and we cover so many different topics, and you're so knowledgeable and sweet, and it's always such a fun time having you.
And you gave us some rations. I mean,
you gave us some rations.
Earned some more cheese balls. I'll go to the store.
Oh, thank you so much, Fry. I really appreciate it. And I want to say, too, before we go, okay, when we are in the parks at our undisclosed date in the very near future, I want to make sure that we go to EPCOT and we knock on that Germany wall.
Yes, we will do that.
To see yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Listen.
We're absolutely going to do it. All right. We're going to listen. That's right. Something that I'm not good at doing, but I will for this.
Well, that is our show for today. Thank you again so much, Fry. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
So I am part of the team over at AllEars.net. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We have our website, allears.net. You can find me specifically at AllEars Fry on Instagram, and just come hang out. I think we're a good time. So love to have you.
I do too.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed talking about Unbuilt Disney Parks history with us. And for even more theme park content, follow us at Park Peeps Pod, at Magical Hijinks, that's HIJINX on socials and YouTube, and then, of course, at Joey Nolfi. And make sure to comment on this episode and tell us some more Unbuilt attractions we didn't get to.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to Fry again for joining us and saving us with the rations. And stay tuned next week for another all-new episode. Bye-bye.
Give me your cheese balls.
Whoop, we're going to fight.
No fighting.
Okay, well, you're driving off, Fry. You can't see this. You've already driven off.
I'll turn this bus around.